templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And I am here to share with you and create with you our healing list event for patrons today. Good morning, Bridget. It is exciting. Thank you so much for being here. So the patron healing list is for my patrons who pledge $15 or more for June 2021. So thank you, all of you, for your support. What was I going to say? These take place at the end of every month. So this is our June one. I wasn't really clear on what the focus was going to be today. So I sent out an email. Hopefully you got it in time. Maybe you didn't. And if you didn't, I apologize. It was a last minute kind of idea. But I proposed 6 potential themes for our healing event today. Hi, Alison. Over half the people selected the one which has become our theme, which is staying in touch. Staying in touch, and then in brackets I had with self and what is important. So we're going to explore that theme, staying in touch, during our connection today. And what it feels for me is a sensitivity, and I'm really drawn to that touch energy of the theme, because I could have easily had the theme as connections, because isn't that what staying in touch is? It's about connections. So an element of it is connections, but I really love the words, but especially the word right now, touch. So there is a sensitivity, a delicacy, an intimacy, we could also say, with this touch energy. So I felt the best way for me to tap into that touch energy and the connection that can help facilitate or help us connect with is through the chakra chimes. So I'm going to play the very delicate, high sounding chimes during our healing connection today. We have 51 people on our healing list. So I have you all down here on 3 pieces of paper, and before about an hour ago, I covered all of your names over, and just so I could see the little hyphen here. And I picked a card. Robin, good morning, here on YouTube, because Facebook didn't work. Yeah, it's not on Facebook. That's probably why this is only on YouTube. But welcome, Robin. Hi Suzie, good morning to you. So then I picked a card. I just split my deck of combined Animal Kingdom and Speed of Light Oracle cards and looked at the card, and just the first word about the card I added here next to all of your names without seeing who the word was going next to. And I had in mind with this the intention of the theme, which is staying in touch. So have a think about, before we dive fully into this, hi Rayna, have a think about what staying in touch means for you. And maybe think about what or who is important for you to stay in touch with right now. Is it, are you making extra effort lately to reconnect with yourself? So maybe for you, one of your things on a bit of a list maybe that you make of things that are important to you, hi Linda, might be yourself. Hopefully other things important to you would definitely be your most important relationship or relationships, because that's really important that we put effort in and make time for our special relationships and our special connections with other people. There may also be things that you're doing or aspects of your life, things that you love, that you would love to stay in touch with. Jane says grounding and centering self is really important. So Jane wants to stay in touch with grounding, which we could also say is her physicality, her physical body, her physical life, and living this physical experience. And then the other thing was staying in touch with her centering, so staying centered and aligned. So what's important to you? I could probably think, just without making a list, there's probably 5 or 6 things that are important to me to stay in touch with, people and things about my life or things I like to do. One of those things would definitely be art, which is really important. So once we decide what or who is important for us to stay in touch with, that's the easy bit, because then it requires the effort and the time and the communication and the, the backing up of that intention with the physical time and the physical space. So spending good quality time with these people, spending good quality time with ourselves. For Jane, being grounding is one of your important things that you want to stay in touch with. So then you maybe need to think about what you need to do maybe on a daily basis to connect with that grounding energy. So it might be daily exercise, it might be going out into nature or doing a meditation that grounds. So it's now also thinking about how do we apply this energy so that we do actually keep the staying element of the theme relevant, because we can have the idea to stay in touch, but it's the actual backing up of that. So how can we back it up? How can we take the action to make it a reality? Okay, let's actually, I'm going to pull a healing energy card, and then I will let you know what your words are. And Robin, I saw here too. And hi, Victoria. Robin says staying in touch with family members who have helped me lately is important to Robin. So that's wonderful. So then it's the conversations, the phone calls, the hopefully not emails, the visitations or whatever it is that works to keep that happening, to keep that. Oops, I'm dropping everything here. To keep it in effect. So I'm looking for the best healing energy card just for now as I prepare to let you know the names and the key words that I have written beside your name. And then I may pull another one as we go into the chimes. So the best, oopsie, these are very slippery. The best, try grabbing 100 photos that are 6 by 4 inches and giving them a shuffle, because they are so slippery. So the best card as we prepare to connect and basically summon you all here is what I'm looking for. Rayna says staying in touch here has become very important to me lately. I'm so pleased. So I'm glad that's important to you and that you do have the opportunity to connect. Thanks, Rayna. So the best card is this here, which is this. Card 89, Soften Harshness. So Linda says that really important to her staying in touch is self-love and strength. So that's interesting. So how do you stay in touch with that strength? How do you build that strength? For me, it would be definitely something I would feel in my body and my mind. So I would be thinking, actually, my Tai Chi that I do pretty much every morning is a way for me to connect with my body or stay in touch with my body, and also stay in touch with my mental strength and my physical strength. So what could you do to stay in touch with that strength, Linda? Yes. Okay, card 89, Soften Harshness. It says, and this is especially in relation to our theme, staying in touch. So to stay in touch, maybe we need to consider softening a harsh energy that we might have around maybe some issues that we have about staying in touch, especially with certain elements or people in our life. So it says here to stop thinking the worst. So don't take things personally. It's probably another thing, especially if this is connected with relationships or friendships or family members. It says find a solution for the disruption. Bridget says, absolutely, I exercise daily and turn my healing cards daily. Yeah, and making that dedication is really important. It says also to settle conflicts. So maybe for some of you, there might be a conflict or a disruption or a harsh energy that's between you and another person, or you and an element of your life, or even yourself, that is difficult to get past. So this card's actually suggesting that we look at any conflicts or disruptions that we have and look at how we can settle that so we can stay in touch if that's important. It says a resolution, hope, gentleness, soften the sharp edges and calm down. Maybe for you it's important for you to stay in touch with your peace, with your ability to be calm, to be gentle. So see what stands out for you there. Okay, I'm going to say your name, which is like inviting you into this space, and then I'm going to let you know the key word. It's mainly one word, a couple of them have two. So just see how this fits for you, especially in regards to the theme. So staying in touch. I might even say that for each one. So the first person is Carol White. Carol, welcome to our circle. You're being encouraged to stay in touch with action, or take action to stay in touch. Action is your word. Amanda Sanders. Oh, great, Alison. Amanda Sanders, your theme words around staying in touch are new depths. So what I felt by that, just to explain it a little bit, is that I felt new depths, you dropping into new depths as you look at your connections and how you can stay in touch with these important elements that are important to you. Susan Sonsteng, your word is protect. So it almost feels like protecting your space, protecting the things that you are in touch with or do resonate with. You know, sometimes they're a little quirky, or there might be a little quirky thing that is really important to us, that maybe people around us don't really understand. It may be something like spirituality. I've seen that quite a lot in the past, where there might be someone that comes to a retreat and their spirituality is really important to them, but their household just doesn't get it and they don't resonate. So this sort of protecting that energy too, it may be seen as a way to sort of honor or keep boundaries around that little quirky thing that's important to us but may not be important to people around us. So that sort of energy too around protection. Annick Beal, your word is heart. So staying in touch with your heart. Carlee Chirichiello, Carlee, your word is shelter. And there is an element of safety and calm with that too. So you're being encouraged to stay in touch with your shelter, with your home. Kanti Devi, welcome. Kanti, your word is transform. So staying in touch but letting that transform. Andrea, good morning. And good morning to you and your beautiful children. So Kanti, yours is transform. David Magness, your word is secure. Secure. Your things that you're in touch with are secure. They are safe. Matthew Keith, your word is deep. Deep. Staying in touch on those deep levels that are really deep and meaningful to you. And I don't know about other people too who connect, but those deep connections are important to me. I'm not one to feel very inspired to stay in touch with things that feel superficial. In fact, I'm more likely to disconnect from those. So for me too, it's really important to have those deep connections that are deep and meaningful to me. So deep, not depth, but deep is your word, Matthew. Oh, and interesting, Chelsea Keith, your word is leap. Leap. So stay in touch, take a leap of faith. There feels to be like a movement, like moving over a bridge and leaping into something. Viktoria Daniels, your word is water. So staying in touch with water. And we could also look at staying in touch with your emotions, your creativity, and that watery element. Beautiful, it feels so clear and pure water. Robin Hippler, your word is connect. So think about staying in touch with your connections. So this is especially things I see this plugging in sort of feeling, and new things that you're plugging into that you may not have plugged into before. So it almost feels like your connections, the things that you're staying in touch with are changing, and that's because so much is changing in your life, no doubt. Jacqueline Taylor, your word is uncoil. Uncoil, so opening up, letting your true self emerge and open and come out of hiding and staying in touch with that inner sort of private part of yourself. Christopher Regan, your word is feel. Feel, so staying in touch with how you feel. These are probably great things for us all to think about. But yeah, staying in touch with how you feel. Leslie Laagel, your word is action. The same as Carol's. Your word is action. So what action can you take to stay in touch? You know, so maybe like for me, I've got a very busy life, so I make little reminders to myself or set little days or things aside where I make an effort to send a text message to someone or, you know, that effort to stay in touch. Rebecca Ross, your word is patience. Be patient as you stay in touch. And this is the thing too, isn't it? Like when we're wanting to stay in touch or connect with people, there might be some that maybe don't feel the need to stay in touch as much as we might do. So it is also something that's, you know, two sides if it's connected with another person. But you're being encouraged to stay patient and use your patience, Rebecca. Andrea Stuart, your words are to stand firm. Stand firm. And I saw you like a statue of a Native American standing there firm and strong, holding your ground, almost with your arms crossed or your arms really strong. So a really assertive sort of energy. So really, in some ways, it feels to me like staying in touch with your strength, your assertiveness, and staying connected to that. Alison, your word is courage. So staying in touch with your courage, maybe. Having courage to stay in touch with things or with people that may be a little difficult to stay in touch with, and having the courage to sort of come out of yourself, out of your comfort zone, we could say, so you can stay in touch. Suzie Nicholls, your word is awareness. So staying in touch and being aware of the things that are important for you to stay in touch with. And that may also change. So, you know, like me doing this dedication, currently it's Dragon Power dedication, day 13. Whereas before it was Getting Ourselves Back dedication, where we went to day 41 or something. So for me, that focus was really important at the time, and then it just sort of wanes. And that might be the case for a lot of us with the things that we're trying to stay in touch with. Some things may stand the test of time. We may stay in touch for years. It may be an ongoing, long-term sort of connection. But there will probably be some things that sort of fluctuate in their importance to us. So what I'm feeling here for you, Suzie, is remain aware of what is important to you at the time, and then what changes, and stay open and aware of that shift. Angela James, your word is resourceful. So stay in touch with your resourcefulness and the resources that you have as well. So there's resources kind of energy there. Priscilla Kimboko. Hi Martin, lovely to see you. Priscilla Kimboko, your word is music. So you're being encouraged to stay in touch with music, and especially the music that touches you. Gayle McCoy, your word is observe. So you're being encouraged to stay in touch with what you're observing and what's important to you as you're observing. It's a little bit like awareness, or observe what you are staying in touch with and what may be slipping perhaps. So next page, we have Nicole Wiggins. Nicole, your word is freedom. Freedom. Staying in touch with things that help you feel free and freedom. Not things that, there are things that we're obligated to do. There are connections that, the people that are dependent on us. I feel like in this case, it's staying in touch with the things that help you feel free and help you feel liberated. Jane Larson, your word is celebrate. Stay in touch and celebrate the things that you are staying in touch with, or the things that you are in touch with at the time. Celebrate, be grateful for, we could also add. Angie Griswold, your word is revive. So there might be something, I almost see like a reviving something that's lost life or lost connection. So there might be something important to you that requires revival. So maybe someone that you haven't connected with for a while that you want to reconnect with, and revive a connection, revive that sort of that space between you and something. It could be someone in your life. Kimberly Vanessa, your word is physically. I thought I wrote physicality, but I wrote physically, so we'll go with that. Staying in touch with yourself physically. So maybe consider how in touch you feel with your body and your physical life, but especially your physical body. Emily Fussell. Emily, your word is resources. So I think we had resourceful before. Resources is yours. So staying in touch with the resources that you do have available, the things that are abundant for you, the things that you can access. Almost the things maybe that we sometimes take for granted is the feeling there too. And we could also think about finances too, staying in touch with our financial resources. So that may be important for you, Emily. See how that feels. Ellen Stensley, your word is joy. Staying in touch with joy. And sometimes it is that simple, the things that bring you joy. So what are those things? Can you list 3, 5, 10 things that you want to stay in touch with that brings you joy? Simply. Dana Wapa, your word is protected. Staying in touch with your protection feels important, and knowing that you're protected and that your boundaries are strong, and maybe even staying in touch with your boundaries so that you're really super aware of the energy that you're giving away and the energy that you're letting in. And is this the energy you want to be giving away, and is it the energy you want to be taking in? If not, maybe staying in touch with your boundaries and your ability to protect yourself may be really important. So see how that feels. Joanne Monroe, your word is courage. So courage again as well coming up. Hi, Tash. Oh, thank you, Tash. Beautiful. It's lovely to see you here. So Joanne, your word is courage. So staying in touch with your strength and your courageous self, your ability to push through and move, even if you're scared, out of your comfort zone or into your fear. So that courage, stay in touch with that movement and that strength inside. And then we have Ray Reed. Ray, your word is knowledge. Staying in touch with knowledge may be important to think about. So your knowledge, your learning, the experiences too that you're gaining, the things that enrich your life and bring knowledge into your life. That was my half page, and then we've got this other page, and then we'll get into the chimes before too long. So thank you for being here. Okay, next is Charley Ross. Charley, your word is focus. So think about, especially if you've been unfocused lately, think about what you can stay in touch with that will help you stay focused in your life. So can you stay in touch with your ability to be focused, with your ability to concentrate on what it is that you're doing? Bathsheba Dixon. Bathsheba, your word is optimistic. So can you stay in touch with that feeling of being optimistic, that things are going to work out, that everything's going to be okay, to remain hopeful as well? These are really interesting because I haven't really connected with the words in this way. I just had the intention, drew the card, wrote the word down, didn't know who it was going next to. And it's very interesting to open up these doorways of things to stay in touch with that maybe we hadn't really thought about, off the top of our head. So this is interesting. Next is Yvonne Kruzich. And your word, Yvonne, is flow. Can you stay in touch with your flow? First of all, what is your flow? Might be important to establish first if you're not sure, and then you'll know what it is you're trying to stay in touch with. So what is your flow and how can you stay in touch with that rhythm? Magenta Borealis. Magenta, your word is watch. Watch, pay attention. What are you noticing? What are you seeing? So staying in touch with what you're watching, or watch what you're staying in touch with. Maybe there's something that you feel obligated or connected to or attached to that may not be healthy for you. So there is almost this sense of attentiveness and watching. What is it that you're staying in touch with? And is it supporting you? Is it healthy for you? There's an interesting element to that word watch as I look at that. Andrea says, thank you so much. The words are spot on, very helpful. Thank you, Andrea. Lots of love. Bridget Mehrtens. Bridget, your word is clarity. Clarity. Can you stay in touch with the idea and the reality of clarity and getting the clarity that you need about the things that feel confusing or muddled for you in your head? So, yeah, that's interesting. Janice Chalmers, your word is gather, gather. And it almost feels like gathering. Stay in touch with people through gathering, perhaps. Maybe that's something that works well for you and your current situation to think about. Maybe a monthly gathering or a monthly get-together so you can stay in touch with your family or the people or the things that are important to you. Maybe it's to do with other things too that are actually personally important to you. Not necessarily people, but things about you or things you want to do, that you can maybe gather with other people that have a similar or the same interest. Like for me on the weekend, going to a ceramics workshop was great to just gather. There was just 3 of us gathering to make pots all weekend, and it's a really nice change for me because I usually always make these things by myself. So that gather energy, what is there something that you can come together with other people that you can stay in touch with that might motivate you? Sandi Greenham. Sandi, your word is move. Move. So I see like running for something, moving, and we could also add change. So can you stay in touch with what wants to move and what wants to change in your life and within yourself? So move. How can you stay in touch with that energy? Linda. Linda, you've got Linda Davidson. Your word is expand. And that was the condor. Expand your horizons. But expand came in really strongly here. And I was interested to see who this would be beside. Can you stay in touch with your ability or the possibility that your life will expand and improve? Because I feel like everything growing, everything expanding. So maybe think about how you can stay in touch with that improvement and the gradual process of expansion in your life. Michele Burch, your word is guide. Guide almost feels like a map in front of you, but it feels like your intuition. So it feels like you're being encouraged to consider staying in touch with your intuition and your inner guidance and that inner map that you have that will guide you through your life. Sondra Battles. Sondra, your word is future. Can you stay in touch with your potential future? Can you stay in touch with your vision for your future and your ability to move forward into the future, which may also mean moving out of the past if you get a bit stuck there sometimes. Joanna Levine, your word is celebration. So it's like joy, celebration, gratitude. Can you stay in touch with the things that feel celebratory to you, the things that feel good to you? In many ways, this staying in touch energy is like a relationship between us and something. So it might be between us and ourselves, if it's important for us to stay in touch with ourselves. It may be between us and another person, you know, specific people, our family, what have you. Maybe it's our relationship between ourselves and these aspects of our life or these things that we do. Like for me, my art, my relationship between me and my art, and how I can stay in touch and keep honoring and keep that flame of connection going through practice, through time, through energy, and through space, through learning. Kathleen Glen, your word is harmony. Harmony. How can you stay in harmony with the things that are important to you to stay in touch with? Can you connect with the things that are harmonious to you and support you, rather than the things that are destructive, which would then be more of an attachment to something? So harmony feels to be important. And Susan McMillan, Susan, your word is balance. So is balance important to you, and how can you stay in touch with that energy and that potential possibility of experiencing balance? Just a few more on the list and then we'll do some chiming. Anne-Marie Douglas, your words are on track. And as I wrote those words down, not knowing who they were next to, I just had this really strong sense of, strong feeling that this person is on track. So stay in touch with your path, your track, and that you are on track. So sometimes we think that we're off track, you know, something, we're going backwards, we're not where we should be. So just be careful of those types of thinking and those types of feelings, and keep reminding yourself that you are on track. So that's really strong mentally and physically. Rayna Ortiz, your word is options, that you have options of staying in touch. So once you establish, and I might actually do this after this connection, is make a list of all the things that are really important for you to stay in touch with. And maybe consider your options around keeping those flames active, keeping those flames alive. So what are your options here of staying in touch? Yes, you know, this is definitely the case with lockdown. We may want to stay in touch by visiting or seeing a person that we really care for, but we're unable to at the moment. So that might be a restriction that we could get caught up in. But in this energy of options, there is this sense, okay, well, yes, it may be unfortunate that we can't see this person now, but there are other options. We might be able to write them a letter, call on the phone, maybe do a video connection somehow. So not that exactly, but just as an example, there may be options for us to connect if we feel that something's missing. Sarah Jones, your words are to look further at the things that you can stay in touch with. So maybe this also suggests that you give this really serious thought, especially for you, Sarah, if this resonates, to look further into these things that are important to you. And maybe it needs some, some sorting out the things that are important to you and the things that aren't, and getting a real clear list of what is important to you, and look further into that if you need to. Avril Daly, Avril, your word is life. Life. Consider staying in touch with life. So how can you do that? Is it important to you? And how can you apply it? What can you do to bring life and your connection to it further into practice, into reality? So we have 4 more people here. Next we have Pamela Florea. So Pamela, your word is vision. So consider staying in touch with your vision for yourself, your vision for your future, your ability to have vision of your life or vision in your work. So your ability to connect and stay in touch with your ability to have vision feels to be important. So your vision is strong. Elle Dubois, Elle, your word is routine, routine. Can you stay in touch with your routine, your schedule, how you spend your time? Or have you become a bit disconnected from it lately? So maybe something to think about, creating a routine that you can stay in touch with that resonates with you at this time. Marguerite Pepper Brady. Marguerite, your word is song. Can you consider staying in touch with song and music and the joy and the upliftment that that brings? Maybe there's a song that you just can't stop listening to right now. So maybe you're feeling really in touch with that. So you could trust those pulls and those connections, even if they're just fleeting. Might just last a day or two, but they'd be important. And then lucky last but not least is Martha Samuels. Martha, your word is motivation. So you've been encouraged to stay in touch with your ability to be motivated and enthusiastic about life and what you do have available, what is around you, what is working for you. So staying in touch with that feeling, that inspiring feeling of being motivated, which is inspiring. I find all of these very inspiring, and I want to thank you so much for allowing me to connect with you and to bring those words through, because I'm sure maybe for you there's been several that have really stood out. So consider what is working for you in your life and what you want to keep happening or what you want to keep about. Consider what isn't working for you and what changes you may need to make. Is this thing supporting you? Is this relationship supporting you? Do you care enough about yourself to stay in touch with yourself, to stay connected with you? So I'm preparing to go into the chimes now, and the energy is moving down. It's deepening now. So let's grab a healing energy card. Then I'm going to play the chimes to hold this space. I don't want to talk too much now, so I'll just talk about this card and then we will chime in silence. Okay, we have card 49, Truth. And it says, the sword of truth. You will know and you can trust what feels true to you. And maybe for you, part of staying in touch is staying in touch with your truth. It's definitely important to me, not something I thought about, which I'll definitely write on my list. It says, cut through the illusion and negativity. Protection, strength, courage, personal power, confront your issues, see the truth, and freedom. So truth. So I want to sit deeply in this energy. I don't want to talk. So I just would like you to just follow what you feel is important to you. I'm going to play the chimes. Excuse my tatty box, it's well used. And there's nothing you can do wrong if you're new to listening to the chimes. Just listen, take some deep breaths, maybe give some thought to these things. Maybe you've already made a list. Maybe there's things you can cross off, things you can add. Things that you can get clear about by seeing it down on paper. Maybe your word that came up for you, you would like to consider further. So sit with those feelings, sit with what you want to stay in touch with as I play the chimes. So nice big breath. And really thinking about this, your sensitivity to what you want to stay in touch with, the intimacy of that connection, and the delicacy. It feels very delicate, sensitive, intimate energy. so take a nice big breath and just allow yourself to come back into your body and into the here and now. If you feel a bit lightheaded or a bit too relaxed, just maybe start wiggling your fingers and toes. Roll your shoulders back and start reconnecting, getting back in touch with your physical body. Also with your breathing, with your breath. Slowly open your eyes when you're ready. Oh, it feels like I'm surrounded in light, the sun shining through the window. It's beautiful. So how are you feeling? Are you feeling a little more in touch with yourself and a little more in touch with the things that are important to you? Perhaps a little more in touch with your body, with your mind, with your emotions. Maybe a little more in touch with other people in your life. And maybe you have an idea of how you can continue to keep that energy going. So what effort do you need to make to keep practicing or to dedicate time to support what it is that you want to stay in touch with? So thank you. Let's get ready to pull a card. Here to go. Thank you so much to all of you who have joined me today. Especially thank you to those of you on the healing list, my patrons, and for your support for June. Thank you so much. If you would love to be a part of this healing event, which is different every month, for next month, then please have a look on my Patreon. You'll find the link in the video description. And at the $15 level or higher, you will automatically be added to the healing list for July. So if you're remaining on the list, I look forward to connecting with you again. And if you would love to join, then I look forward to connecting with you. So if you would love to learn more about me and the work I do at Temple of Balance, my general Temple of Balance work, my everyday work, please visit templeofbalance.com.au. If you're new to my YouTube channel, please hit the subscribe button so you can see more of these videos in the future. So, our best healing energy card to go. There is a real calming, a deep calming energy that feels to be around with this topic. I want to thank those of you who chose it because I feel like it's been perfect, and I trust that you feel a connection with what's been important to you during this time that we've spent together today. So thank you. So our best card to go. How do we move forward from here now? How do we keep the flame? How do we keep the flames going? How do we stay in touch? How do we stay in touch instead of losing touch? How do we keep it going? How do we keep the flame alight? That's what I want to find a card for. What's it going to be? It's this. It hasn't come up yet. Card 97. And it's called Flowing Free. Flowing Free. It says complete surrender. And I love that. It just, what I'd imagine is just falling back into the water, into a ocean or a beach or something, or falling back into someone's arms. So that sort of complete surrender where you can just feel safe enough to surrender and fall back, but not literally, energetically in our life. So what are the things that we need to just completely surrender from? Maybe there are relationships and connections with family or things like this that we've tried to keep the bridge going. We've tried to keep the flame alight, but it's not been reciprocated on the other side. So maybe we need to completely surrender some things that we might want to stay in touch with, but we just can't. So maybe we need to connect in other ways if we don't want to lose that connection. But complete surrender. It says, in surrender there is peace. Move with each step. Move with each step. So that's interesting. That's like staying in touch with the steps that we make and the steps that we take in our life. Moving with each step, which I hadn't thought about before, even though I wrote this, feels to me like, sometimes we just are a robot stepping through our life going through our life. And this sentence, move with each step, makes me feel like we're invested, we're responsible, we're embodying that each step that we take. Participate actively in your life. Well, we've talked about that. We need to actively take the steps and make the effort to stay in touch with the things that are important to us today. And it says you can trust in the direction that you're going. So this is all very much aligned with what we've been talking about. And it is moving now with this energy and really thinking about how we can continue to nourish and nurture these things, these people that we want to stay in touch with. Maybe after this connection, you will feel like you need to pick up the phone, give someone a call that you haven't spoken to for a while, maybe write a letter, maybe reach out, maybe look at your schedule and how can you make time for this thing that you would really love to stay in touch with. It's very difficult to stay in touch with things like, for me, art. If I'm not practicing art, I'm just going to be dreaming about it and missing it. So I have to take steps pretty much every day to make sure I'm doing the art, that it is a part of my life, an important element of my experience. So thank you so much for connecting. I trust that something shared helped you today. And I might see you next month. Have a great rest of your month, which is just one day. And enjoy the rest of your day. I might see you again very soon. Take care and goodbye for now.